for the passion of the gods, people, nature, and country. Welcome to the first novel of the Archipelago, entitled Blood and Gold, written by J.A. Batas. Warning: before going to the depths of my story, I just want to warn you about the following scenes that may disturb or offend you. The following are violence, torture, murder, sexual abuse, promiscuity, sexual activity, and swear words. If any of those may not be suitable for you, there are no worries about it. This is just a story. Enjoy the flow of the line in my ongoing fantasy novel, Blood and Gold, available in Wattpad. Sit back, relax, and I hope you love it. Chapter 1, first part of the prologue, entitled The Mist by the Northern Isle. The world is cold and stiff, like if the dead is still haunting them before the daybreak. A remarkable yet horrifying history behind every island locus, morphed into a new destiny as seen in the waters around them. However, they kept their plans a perfect secret, murdering anyone who could have put the pieces together in the darkest shore and reefs. Monsters of the trenches can rip limb by limb. The massive one, the colossal beast of the sea guard in defense of the deep, and the hidden ones, the feel of repugnance towards the sailors of the sea, amongst men who are hungry for blood and who is generous for giving no mercy. It has long been its nemesis for reasons lost in the deep trenches underneath, and so the gods know the ends of it. There are always something lurking underneath the waters, they said, but there is always a bigger boat afloat it that bothers. Bubbles of heat steaming that smell like death, brittle like ice on every rack-ruined breath. Going in the boundaries of every lapse like a splinters of rocks, the tiny and huge are scattered around like a broken world's complex and a subtle pieces. Alar and Gordar, lone wrinkled fingers by the morning they sailed to fish, dryland between the ports and islands unnamed. By wares of loose garments of dark shade from dusk till dawn, caved in their hands the veins of strength and wounds of courage. For thousands of years they were keeping the norms of taking what is said to be owned by their kingdom, taking the resources for which they are the only one, ordered to sail within the world's shores without any hesitation, through fishes and golden treasures alike. The Alutheas reign from the islands of the ruined fortress of Andanine to the silent mysteries lies beyond the Raven Islands was still uncertain. Gordar: "Nice catch, Alar. The harpoon made its way beneath it," said him. Gordar complimented his comrade while he used his thicker yellow lengthy dart to spit by the bow. Most of their techniques, such as the use of fish traps, harpooning, and using bow and arrow, could be performed both on foot and from a boat. Those who lives near the bodies of water, an aim of a man is to bring castle a net full of fishes. What a tiring morning already. We should have just joined the army if we have the money to. At least we can hold a sword, not this dangling thing," Alar aggressively said, dismayed to the underlying facts shown off by the family's deeds. The experience of feeling to be an anointed knight of the kingdom. "I'd rather just die on the land with the faces of my family in front of me," Alar said. The man dripping with sweat said to him, with a stiff and worn-out voice while engaging the clutch of the fisher's harpoon. Arms stayed within the ropes and blew the flames of every shot to be a successful catch. "The fisher workers' limit scarce. We should be here all day, every day. What if the farm does not have any more servants, right? The kingdom is washed up with some good servants." Disappointed, said Gordar. "Give golds for the kings and queens? Give foods to our fellow working men. A will from our own fighters of country is better than the arrows flying from the rivalry," said Alar. "I can't believe this conversation, lad. We are here sitting our asses mouthing about the strongest people in the realm," said Gordar, laughing. "What? Really? Be happy, because this was the only time we can talk about them. We talk about this in the near of high lords' houses, or even the ladies, we are probably dead," said Alar, crestfallen like an arrow through the heart, melancholy due by their day-to-day work with the small to no pay. The life behind was ruined, but we still need to carry on to make them living, he thought. Gordar suddenly missed his thoughts and continued to shoot arrows and spears beneath the sea. The fishes on the boat seemingly bound the weight that it tilts a bit. Every tip of their daggers terrible swift, like opening a clam of the world and taking what is below the blue ravine canyon, a bottomless obstruct, a bottomless pit. Hold by hold for every catch and shot of weapon, beyond the trail floats resource. This is what the people needs. Decreasing the labor of herdsmen as well as farmers. They eat fish instead or else they go to the other way around. Diffident they feel towards the nature, as long as they live a better life. Diffident to stay across the forbidden, as long as they live on a station of good spirits. 10 big salmons, trout, 10 as well? How many is that? More than 20 flounders in one settle from the island. They can be very disappointed if there was no tuna. People with money can wolf down those luxury in a single moment, said Gordar. He joined the seat in front of Alar, both in a weary state, the sound of sea breeze, roaring distant waves covering up their voices and cold, fast breathing. Save some mackerel for us. I think 4 was enough, and the rest we can let display it beyond the port, said Alar. Treasures displayed in the port? Yes, but the money was not enough for us to use again. What is the point then? Said Gordar. There could be a desecration and loss underneath it. He counted the fishes from its deposit. For the people poor, his stomach filled without the gaps of starvation. It was not enough for several families. They were about to head on to another catch, grabbing the necessities of water hunting, until there was something Alar glimpsed in the corner of his eyes. What the hell is that? In the crescent boat, pointing at the huge stone of one of the small islands, his body takes forward to seek through the waves of the mirror-like grace and unexplored ocean's inner rumination, taking away his eyes upon the darkest and strangest figure on the other side of a stone looking through its narrow eyes. The mist is white and violently cold. They wonder what this man is doing alone in a closed, empty dryland. A man is waving at us. He needed the help or some sort of food. We can give him space of the boat, as much as he does not kill us. We can't trust anyone in this world, you know, said Gordar. Both of his eyes, twitching, are fixed beyond the island with no space to swing an open weave to get a catch, gripped, ready at the net. I cannot figure out. It was not a man, perhaps, Alar said, with a stiff voice and looking with a peer from his eyes, above a hand between the eyebrows. Perhaps what? He was there. That guy is just behind that rock. It is obviously a person, so what else you could say, perhaps? If it is something else? Said Gordar. His being upright from the oak seat of their boat, blunted harpoons, wooden bow, and a sword not used for whether or not the man that seemingly pierced and its hand shake and swish doesn't have any good intention to talk or act. It is never calm nor a feeling of excitement. A company may join them or harm them. No caution of prayer within their ears to settle the boat near the seashore. Gordar's scheme are without having the courage of staying at the margin of welfare, and said, "Let's find out." He proceeded to row closer to the islet, which a flat hill rests underneath a rugged erected stone. Alar trying to fight back, the rowing came to steady opposite to stop him. Shards of waves like gushing, the gods want them to know, and they damn the dread to know more what is going on behind the realm. And now they saw it. They saw it disappear, joining the waves of the thin, mournful fog above the tides. Having a stare onto the blue and luminous sea is the terror they never seek. Whatever that speck of shadow had touched, intainted, and its vivid lifeblood gradually grew within the stone. They said flowers are famous for having the sweetest fragrance, but the sharpest thorns. Thorns of yellow sticking out on the side of the land. Those sharp dorsal of a skeleton made of cartilage, not bones. And its ways slid onto the blue linen proximate within their small boat. It spreads by slender ape that can swaddle a boat, an enemy of mankind. They're gone for thousands of years, yet the resemblance, the mark, the figure is still large enough to pierce the sheet of cold dark sea, as well as the screaming bubbles even more. The agonizing, unbearable sting, churning the haze and riptide into a raging chaos. The two boatmen has gone lifeless, clenched chains onto the dark abyssal prison, eyes shut forever, a dream from birth have taken a burrow. A corpse with the fishes lay forever, never again living at the table of the Lord of Sorrow. The kingdom and the colossal they knew about. It was the tales that tell that is supposedly forgotten. It was last throughout the ages. The gills, the flaps and stings, the swords of the abyss is still at rise, pierces wherever it pass. The exegesis of every pages of the book they are willing to find. It is still counting. The dreaded one swims, the phantoms, the dead be in the land of the living, though it might be add 100 times its weight to either dry land's distance. It is doomed to live apart until that day it returns that which was taken. At most part of every man's journey, their trips are never safe.